Hey guys, welcome to Math for Kids by a Kid. Today we are going to focus on the introduction of polynomials. So what is a polynomial? A polynomial is a monomial or a sum or difference of monomials. So then what is a monomial? A monomial is comprised of three parts. The number. It can be positive or negative. The variable or variables, so it can have more than one, and the exponent on each variable. So in a monomial, the number and variable or variables are multiplied together. And the exponent on each variable must be a positive integer. So let me show you an example of a monomial here. 6x squared. So in this case, 6 is the number being multiplied by the variable x. But we actually have another name for this number. It is called the coefficient. So 6 is the coefficient. The variable is x, and the exponent on the variable is 2. Now, I'm going to show you another monomial here that looks a bit more tricky. Just 6 by itself. Now you're probably wondering, well, I have the coefficient, but where is the variable and where is the exponent? And the answer is that it is there, but it's just not shown. If I were to show the monomial and its variable, it would look like this. 6x to the power of 0. And the reason why it is optional to write down x0 is because it is equal to 1. Any number or variable raised to a power of 0 is always 1. And when 1 is being multiplied by a coefficient, you have a choice of whether you want to write it down or not. So it actually is easier when a monomial has a coefficient being multiplied by 1 because you don't have to write down the variable. So you can either write the monomial as 6 or 6x to the power of 0. Both are correct. First is just easier. And another name for this kind of monomial is a constant, when it's just the number by itself. I'm going to show you one last example here. Negative x. So in this case, we are kind of dealing with the opposite situation. We have our variable, but we don't know our coefficient, nor the exponent on the variable x. So again, the coefficient and the exponent are there, but it's just not written down. If the exponent on any number or variable is 1, you don't have to write it down. So the exponent on x is 1, but it's just not written down. It's not shown. And the coefficient is -1 in this case because there's a negative sign in front of the x. And again, the 1 is there, but it's just not written down because it is being multiplied by x. So it's optional. So the two ways of writing it down are -x or -1x to the power of 1. Both are correct. And one more thing that I want to point out is that the coefficient doesn't always have to be a whole number. It can be a fraction or a decimal as well. So it could be 0.25x squared or half x. So now you have an idea of what monomials are. Now I will show you an example of a polynomial. 6x squared plus x minus 3. So here we have 3 terms, and they're all being added together. I said before that a polynomial is a sum or difference of monomials, but we can think of this polynomial as all the terms added together. So you could technically also think of this as 6x squared plus x plus negative 3. And we have a way of classifying polynomials based on the number of terms they have. The first example I showed you, 6x to the power of 2, is a monomial. They are polynomials with one term. If the polynomial has 2 terms, it's called a binomial. So an example of this is, so the negative 6 and the 2x squared are both terms, are each terms, and they're 2 terms being added together. And if it has 3 terms, it is called a trinomial. So that's an example I showed you above. 6x squared plus x minus 3. That's an example of a trinomial because it has 3 terms. And if it has 4 terms or more, so 4 plus terms, it's called a polynomial. Technically speaking, a monomial isn't really a polynomial, but you can still think of it as a polynomial with only one term. Same way, even though a polynomial with 2 terms is called a binomial, you can still call it a polynomial if you want to. And the same goes for a trinomial. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.